Yeah, this thing is so fun. It also has like sound effects I can do.
That's awesome.
That's what these little buttons are for.
Did you watch Stranger Things?
Yeah.
I was just thinking of Rockin' Robin.
100%. But instead of having to put in all the
Oh,
different
yeah.
tape decks,
Because the technology's so
it's right
good
there
now.
in my hands. Hello, Britt Rentschler.
Hi.
That's not how we start.
5, 6, 7, 8. We got Big Theater Kid Energy.
Hi, and welcome to Big Theater Kid Energy, your least pretentious theater review podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garcia, and I went and saw Izzard, the Tragedy of Hamlet, which is running until January 31st. So this is your last week to see it in Los Angeles. It is touring around, so check their website to see if it's coming to a city near you. But I saw it at the Montalban Theater in Hollywood, California, with my very good friend, Britt Rentschler.
Hi,
Britt. How are you?
I'm well. I'm excited. I've never done a video podcast, you know.
You've never done a video podcast?
No.
Wow.
So I'm like, do I look at you? Do I look at you?
Have you done an audio podcasts?
I've done audio, yeah.
What do you do?
Well, I did it in my pajamas.
I meant what podcast, but I love that you told me how you did that podcast. Britt, you were born in Birmingham, Alabama.
It's true.
And then you went to University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Yes.
UAB.
Uh-huh.
And then I met you at UCF.
That's right. Yes.
Orlando,
where
you
I got my
your
master's.
MFA.
Yeah.
Wow. And then what'd you do after that?
During that MFA program, I had a year of residency at the Shakespeare Theater in Orlando, which was wonderful. And that was a part of the master's degree. And then when I finished that, I did, what I hope a lot of kids get to do, which is save all your pennies and go to Europe for a few months and try to find yourself. And then I moved to California.
Wow. And what did you find in Europe? Did you find yourself at all?
I found 6 countries and a lot of backpacking and a lot of languages. And I don't know if myself was there.
But it was maybe back here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think it was actually in Los Angeles, which was shocking because I had never been to California before I decided to move here.
Really?
Yeah.
You just, what drove you to be like, LA is my place?
Well,
Especially because you are such like, when I think about you and like when we met, you're such a like theater being. You
Yes.
are of the stage, you love the stage. And so to make the hard turn to
Yeah.
film and TV home,
Yeah.
what made that shift?
There's a couple reasons. And I hope it's not too depressing, but I feel like I was able to observe theater from a place in grad school. Like I had this nice little buffer. A lot of my other friends went straight to New York and they were having a really hard time in New York. It was pretty brutal. And if they were working, they were shipping off on tours. They weren't really in New York for very long.
Right.
And then, I had the great privilege of getting to see Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth in Wicked. But I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh, shit. I can't sing like
Yeah.
that. Like I'm an actor who can sing and can dance and has been doing musical theater. And in fact, like my stipend in college was doing musical theater. I did a touring show. I loved it. But I was like, if that is a standard,
Right.
I'm so fucked, right? Oh, can we curse on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry.
Curse the fuck away.
Okay, great. I'm gonna.
Good.
I was like, yeah, I'm so fucked. So it's got to be straight theater, right? Like
Yeah.
that's how I'm gonna do this. And then I started doing the math, and I was like, 2% of things on Broadway are straight theater. And then, who's starring in it is
The stars.
Scarlett Johansson and Liev Schreiber is in A View from the Bridge.
Yeah.
So what am I gonna do to get back to theater? It actually felt like
Wow.
I needed to go to film and television to try to get some sort of basis to try and sell tickets, that was truly like my young mind trying to figure out a long-term plan of how to do the thing that I loved. And it came from watching people who were really struggling. And I have always been a strategist in that way. I love what I love so big that I want to be able to keep it in my life. It's why I got my graduate degree, because I thought no matter what, I can always teach.
Right.
I never want anybody to be able to take the arts away from me.
Wow. That was gorgeous. I had like a thought, but then what you said rocked me so much.
Yeah.
It completely just
Yeah.
got pushed out of my brain. Like, I never want someone to be able to take the arts away from me. Oh, this is what I was going to say. You have told me before that you've made a concerted effort in Los Angeles to avoid theater.
Yes, because it's like that.
It's a drug.
It's a drug. It's that relationship that you're like, I just can't get enough. I can't
know.
get enough. And I knew I moved here to try to do something different. I had the great privilege of having a supportive family in the sense that the minute I wanted to do community theater, my parents were like, girl, I will drive you to practice. I will pick you up. Play
Right.
practice before we called it rehearsal.
Oh, wow. You called it play practice? I got corrected
yeah.
in high school by one of the assistant directors that was like, we don't practice.
We're in
we
rehearsal.
rehearse."
But look, I was like 7.
Yeah,
Right. So like
course.
it was play practice.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
pick
yeah.
you up, pick up Brittany from play practice.
Mhm.
And they did. And I loved it so much. And it's all I wanted to do. And
Yeah.
so when I went to high school, I just showed up on the first day and auditioned for the play. They didn't know who I was or what was going on. And I got cast, which was amazing. And I feel like part of that new beginner energy that's like so pie in the sky. It's just like, I just love it and I'm here for it. So I did theater, I did competitions. We went to state competitions. It was my life in high school. It was my life in college. I was a double major, political theater. And it really did feel like political theater.
Right.
But it was,
But isn't political science basically political theater?
yes, it is. Wow. That was a great Freudian
You
slip.
just kind of made it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't edit that out.
No, that's staying.
Yeah, that's prophetic. Yeah, it was politics and then it was theater. And even at that time, I had this feeling of like, should I go to law school and maybe like, right. My parents talked me out of that. They're like, this is
That's
what
so
you've
funny.
loved your whole life.
Because
Don't
we
do
had
it.
so many similar tracks going on because I was also, I went to school for poli-sci
Yes.
and theater. I dropped the poli-sci. I stuck with the theater. And then there was plans to be pre-law, go to law school. And my parents tried to talk me into it. And I said, okay, thank you. I will. And I kind of just skated away from it over and
Yeah.
over and over as they tried to push me toward it because I knew there was no way. I said it in here before, but like theater and acting training in a big way, I think saved my life, at least in the sense of like not having a miserable one.
Oh, yes.
Because I think I'm so left-brained and I'm so just analytical that I needed something that
Balance.
massaged the other half, that balance,
Yes.
that I was going to be rewarded for the left-brain analytical stuff if I stuck with.
lots and lots of money, lots and lots of ego boosting. The world is going to tell you you did a good job.
And then I would have gone home and I would have watched Netflix and I would have been
Cried.
sad. Yeah, I would have cried. I would have Netflixed and cried.
I know.
But you focused on doing film and TV, and you've been so successful at doing that, and not only as an actor, but as a producer, as a writer, as a creator in your own right. With Pretty Problems is a huge one. You have a new film that you're working on now, and I mean multiple. I don't even know all the projects you're working on, but I feel like, and also on top of that, where our parallel continued, you were out here at an acting studio. You took training so seriously. You helped me get into that same acting studio.
Yeah.
You became a teacher there. I became a teacher there. Like there's so many aspects. What I love about that, by the way, that you helped facilitate at least that part of the life for me, is even when I'm not getting paid to be a performer, I am getting paid to help other performers to stay in that performer mindset. I'm never having to be like, okay, time to go to my server job.
Yes.
It's time to continue my creative space.
Yes.
No
Nobody
matter what
can
aspect
take
of
the
it I
arts
make,
away from
nobody
you.
can take the arts away from me.
And you can still live.
Yeah.
You know, that was the way that I met this 7-year-old version of myself that wanted to do this so badly. And the adult that I was becoming that started to understand that I had to pay rent and live and have health insurance, maybe, hopefully.
Right.
You know, like those kinds of things. It was like, how do I take care of myself in all of this? Because I want to stay tender, you know?
Mm-hmm. Are you going to get, you think, back into theater at some point? Is that like a
I
draw
hope
for
so.
you?
So my main goal, you were in this play. I wrote my thesis on a play called Mackinac by Sophie Treadwell, who's the first female to win the Pulitzer Prize for that play. And I wanted to revive it because it had not been done on Broadway since the 20s.
Wow.
And so I thought, holy shit, I'm never going to get to do this. They're never going to let me do this unless I go and work in TV and film. Maybe I can, you know, at the time I was so naive about all of it. But I was like, book some guest stars or like recur on a show or like have some sort of clout.
Yeah.
Right. Because you would see like in the Broadway, it wasn't necessarily Scarlett Johansson, but you would see in the bios, it would be like Law and Order SVU, right? Like they had credits and I was so fresh and so new. I thought I'm going to revive this.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And my second year in LA, Rebecca Hall did it.
Ah,
You were great, Rebecca Hall. I love you.
but you stole something.
But it was like, yeah, no shit. It's an amazing play.
Yeah.
It's an
Oh my
amazing
God, that
play.
show.
And I think my thesis got published on it. Like, I just love it so much. And it was such a beautiful piece of work. And that's what I was hoping to come back to. But that didn't happen. But through TV and film, I found, and this is my big connection to theater. So that was my impetus.
Mm-hmm.
But where it grew for me was that I loved most about theater is black box theater.
Yeah.
I loved being in a tiny space where I could feel people breathe. And that to me was everything. And so when I'm doing TV and film, the intimacy of that became the thing that was the bridge. I fell in love with the idea that not only is it such an intimate setting, even though you have all this, even the crew, I don't see the crew as like, oh, it's a big crew watching you. It's like, no, we are all collaborating on the same thing. Everyone's focusing on the same moment. There is an unbelievable precision and intimacy to it. And then you're in people's living rooms.
Yeah.
You're in their bedrooms. Like, there is nothing more intimate than that. And so I think that kind of storytelling is really powerful and exciting. And I felt like it was an evolution. I think I'm an old soul theater gal. And I think I'm living in a new world where that has to translate.
Right. Rather than getting your feet stuck in the mud and being like, no, this is the one thing. It's so I can renegotiate my connection with storytelling in whatever format. And I love the way that you just described that connection there. And one thing that really, when you were talking there, is like, I recently had a moment of like, oh yeah, I've really renegotiated my expectations of what like my life was going to be in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Of like the idea of, oh, what the track is or the ladder or how you climb it, of like, okay, a few co-stars, then guest stars, and now we're going, and then potentially, and just realizing like none of it is a ladder.
No.
None of it has any specific linear trajectory. It's very much, one of my clients just got offered a role on a project because she did a podcast with a friend 6 years ago, and that person brought her up in the writer's room for the show she's on right now, and they called her in. Like, you don't know what seeds you plant are going to
delicious.
It's so
Isn't
delicious.
it?
And it's just such a reminder to like continue to be a good person, continue to like love what you do and show up with that amount of grace so that people want to continue to work with you.
Yes. And do you want to geek out for a second?
Yeah.
With like a theater analogy?
Please.
So what I always found so beautiful about theater is that this world, it was written, but it didn't exist. Not with these people in this moment, with these people who made the set, who are running the lights, like this team, right? So we build this world together so that we can live in it, so that we can tear it down and say goodbye. And the only thing to do is to start that over again. And I think living through that is the most honest reflection of life, of the seasons of life, of the seasons of change, of the seasons of love, if you will. And I would. But I think that is what's so exciting about TV and film in that way. What you just described is like you planted a seed and you left it and you thought it was over, and yet it comes back. There's cycles that you don't even know are happening, and it's never linear, and we're always going through this next evolution. And I just think that to me is the way to be on the planet.
Wow. I mean, there's other silly questions that I sometimes ask people, but I think like this conversation and that place of leaving it, that's such a great arc of just like theater, film, TV, having a creative life in general, which also to speak to Izzard and the Tragedy of Hamlet that we went and saw, I was so inspired by that show.
Yes.
And that performance that I started relearning a monologue that I knew from before. The Sir Thomas More that Ian McKellen does for Mark Maron on his podcast.
Oh, yeah.
When Mark Maron says, at the end of the podcast, after like talking to Ian McKellen for an hour and a half, he says, by the way, I just really don't like Shakespeare. Well, I just don't get it. It's just not for me. Like, I think I'll never get it.
It's a good Mark Maron.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to do Ian McKellen. But Ian says back to him, well, maybe you just haven't heard very good Shakespeare. And perhaps I could just perform one for you right now. And he does Sir Thomas More. And Sir Thomas More is talking in this monologue. And what he loves about it too, what he geeks out about, is this is the one piece of text that's actually still in Shakespeare's handwriting, which leads you to believe that it probably meant a lot to Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Sir Thomas More talking to a mob who want to cast out these strangers, these immigrants. And Sir Thomas More And then he jumps into this monologue about Sir Thomas More defending the rights of the immigrants. And this was 10 plus years ago that he did this on Mark Maron's podcast. And it's crazy. And of course it is, because it was relevant hundreds of years ago when Shakespeare wrote it. And of course it's still even more relevant right now. So that's why Shakespeare is so important.
Yes.
And so relevant, and it's something not. And so why does it keep getting revived? Why does it keep getting put in different styles? Because his understanding of story and his understanding of humanity,
Yes,
doesn't have time. That it's not like it doesn't get it transcends all of that.
and I think it's distilled down to the simplest terms. Comedy or tragedy. It's a tragedy of Hamlet, yes, but it's the tragedy of man.
The way that. And Eddie Izzard goes by Eddie, but also by Suzy.
Suzy Eddie Izzard.
Suzy Eddie Izzard.
Yes.
When Suzy, and I just want, before we even talk, because usually the structure here is I talk about the theater, I talk about the history, blah, blah, blah. But I just need to talk about, because that structure was broken immediately by Suzy Eddie Izzard. The moment that she walked out on stage, there was no like, okay, hello everyone, and please silence your cell phones.
There's no pretense.
There's none. There's no pre-show at all.
Other than excellent jazz music.
Other than, oh my
Loved the jazz
God.
music.
Excellent jazz music. Izzard walks out on stage and just starts talking to us. And likens it back to the fact that she was a street performer and that this is the way it was done in Elizabethan times. There was no fourth wall. The fourth wall was created 250 years later. And what she said to us that I think really struck me in that moment was, this is about a family breaking apart, but also about a country breaking apart, which is so what's happening.
Yeah, it is a tragedy of man. It is the mistakes that are made over and over and over again. That is why it's tragic. Yeah.
It also inspired me to go back and start watching Slings and Arrows, which is an incredible Canadian TV show
Beautiful.
of this theater festival in Canada where they're putting on Hamlet. And it's Rachel McAdams' first role.
Yes.
And also, it's all available on YouTube.
Yes.
I'm watching it right now. Please go watch.
Also a huge influence on me going to film and television, not even joking.
Oh,
I would
wow.
rewatch that and I was like, this to me is the perfect marriage of both of my worlds.
I've now just been devouring it. There's so many, like, we're in SAG, so we get all the screeners for the big Oscar-nominated movies. And I'm like, no.
YouTube, Slings and Arrows.
I will be going to a pixelated version of Slings and Arrows with all the subtitles forced upon me.
Yes.
I don't care.
With Rachel McAdams doing a cereal commercial as her audition.
That's right.
It's so good.
When
And
she
oh my
kicks
God.
the soccer ball.
And that's where I found out, you can't write off your bras.
That's right.
Apparently not in Canada.
Anyway, back to the show at hand, which was
Yes.
Izzard, the Tragedy of Hamlet. Again, it is running just through January 31st in LA, but it will be traveling around more. It happened at the Montalban Theater, the Ricardo Montalbán Theater. Right. That's near Hollywood and Vine in the heart of Hollywood. The Montalban originally opened in 1927.
Wow.
As the Wilkes Vine Street Theater. It was the first legitimate Broadway-style live theater space in LA.
I didn't know that.
And it was the first, me either. That's why I love this podcast. I'm getting to learn. By the way, another thing about this, I'm not a good theater goer. And this has made me into a good theater goer because I'm actually and I'm obsessed with it now. About learning about all these spaces. Who knew that was there in 1927? And it changed hands many times. At one point, it was owned by CBS, and they used it for live radio broadcasts. For Cecil B. DeMille would do shows there. And then in 1999, the Ricardo Montalbán Foundation bought and restored the building to promote Latino and multicultural works. It has 930 seats with also a rooftop space where they do film events and stuff there.
Yeah, they do screenings on the rooftop.
Yep, with about 200 guests that can fit up there.
Absolutely.
So it's a super cool space. I really enjoyed it. It's wild because to have been built near the same time, a little bit earlier then, but near the same time as the Pantages, it doesn't have the grandeur of the Art Deco style of the Pantages. It's much cleaner. It's much more like black walls, clean space. It almost has a black box feel to it. I mean, it does have, 2,000 less seats than the Pantages.
I'm kind of losing my mind because I feel like that's where IFC did the premiere of Pretty Problems on the roof. And
Oh my God, that's what you were like recalling. The movie that you produced and star in.
Yes, but it was such a wild time. It was just like just get there and be dressed, and you went up like the outside to get to the top. But I'm fairly certain,
Almost certain that
I'm having such a wild convergence of timelines
I love when
right
connections
now.
like that happen.
Yes, wow, that's so special.
It's really special. And I think, and I don't know if you agree, but it feels like it does have almost that black box feel to it.
Yes.
It does feel like the acoustics in the room are so good.
Yeah.
I've been finding out now recently that, no shade, but at the Pantages, the acoustics aren't necessarily the best. I don't realize that because I'm getting these cushy seats up in like the front row, third, fourth, fifth row. But my friends who've been in the back of the orchestra or even parts of the balcony have said that sometimes the mix isn't great from that location.
Yeah.
And we were a little bit further back, row M on the side for this show, and the sound was excellent.
Beautiful.
I did feel like I was right up there.
I did too. We ran into someone who said that they were on like the fourth row.
Yeah.
And they were dying over it. They're like, I'm crying my eyes out. I feel so close. But I was like, that's so funny because I feel so close.
Right. Okay. So if you don't know Hamlet, it's Hamlet. But
If you don't know Hamlet, stop this podcast right now and go do some homework and come back.
go do some homework, figure out
Yeah.
what Hamlet is, and then you can come back here.
And it's going to be good homework, delicious homework.
In Slings and Arrows, they're like, the greatest play ever written, Hamlet.
Wow.
Maybe. Can I say right now, also, I just had a drink of water, and I was thinking about that while watching this show because Izzard, Suzy Eddie Izzard, doesn't have a drink of water for any moment in either act. During the intermission, sure, but she doesn't sit. She doesn't sip water. She doesn't stop, which also is not surprising because she is a marathon runner.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, God, I can't make it through a podcast, and I'm sitting
I'm telling you.
without having a sip of water. That is just for that feat alone. This
Yeah.
show is beyond impressive.
Oh, yeah. No props. No using the costume. There's not like a scarf or a belt or like nothing becomes anything else. It is truly just the performer on the stage and the language laid bare before you and with you as the audience because the fourth wall is broken.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And I apologize because I'm going to be switching back between Suzy Izzard and Eddie Izzard, just depending on where my brain is in that moment. But I know that she's open to both. A lot of the programs and posters have Eddie on them, but I know she goes by Suzy and Eddie. So just bear with me. But Eddie Izzard, if you don't know who that is, and also stop.
Yes, and go watch Dressed to Kill.
Go watch Dressed to Kill. Very well known stand-up, theater, film, TV, activist. And in this show, plays 20 to 23 roles
Unreal.
during the entire performance of Hamlet. And at no point did I wonder, who's that now?
I was also shocked because when I found out this was a one-person show, I thought, okay, this is going to be like an hour, maybe 90 minutes.
Right?
We are not getting the full usual 2-act condensed version
Right.
of Hamlet, right? There's no way.
Right. No, you are.
Oh, you are.
You're not getting the 4-hour version that Branagh does where it's completely unabridged.
No.
You are getting an adapted version, which was adapted by Eddie's brother, Mark.
Yes.
To this 2-hour and 20-minute, but still, that's about what a regular production these days
Yes.
does anyway.
And you have many, many, many actors doing that.
Many actors handling it. And people can take a break, get off stage. Everything's happening. Just Eddie on stage by themselves. And directed by Selena Cadell. And Tom Piper did set design, which was beautiful.
Gorgeous. So perfect.
And Tyler Ellick did the lighting, which was also unbelievable. One of the moments that I really want to talk about is how they introduced and how they displayed the ghost. Because there were a couple of moments where it felt like there were more than one person on stage. And it was especially when there was a ghost.
Yes.
Because of the lighting work and also the way
sounds,
Eddie
too.
used and the sound.
I jumped out of my seat twice.
Every time the ghost was introduced,
Yeah.
jump.
And I am not, I don't know why I would startle like that, except it was just that good. I know what's coming. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what's coming,
Yeah.
but also, Suzy Izzard was up there just like fully devoted to the moment at hand and
Unreal.
not letting on at any moment that a big surprise was coming. So that was the performance, the lighting, the sound, unbelievable. But then the way that it was set up with the lighting was this massive shadow was cast on the wall.
So gorgeous.
And Eddie would be so still because they knew it had to be within this one panel and the movement. And so the movement of the shadow was the ghost. And she would then move across the stage right. And the shadow would become smaller and smaller, creating more intimacy between Hamlet and Hamlet's ghost, which was just the storytelling. If you just had no sound, the storytelling was unbelievable. And it really felt like there were multiple. Other times that it felt like there were multiple people on stage was when Rosencrantz and Guildenstern made their entrances.
Gorgeous.
The two hand puppets.
Gorgeous.
It was so funny. And I love that they weren't like legitimately They were just like, every time they spoke, it was just like a shake of
and it's so hard to do that without like doing it on your face as well. The hand held all of the like obviousness of if you don't know, actually, sorry, I shouldn't say obviousness, but Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are fuckheads, right? They're just like, they're little fuck boys. And so you could see it in the way the dismissive gesture of the hand is so gorgeous, but the face and the rest of the body was perfectly still.
Was still Claudius or Hamlet, depending on who was talking to them.
It was so masterfully done.
Yeah. And did you know that before Eddie did this show, she did an adaptation of Dickens' Great Expectations as a one-person show, as a solo show, which...
But take my money.
I mean, I would have loved to have seen that. I hope that she does it again.
Yes.
And there was another aspect of this show that really just blew me away, which was there are, having seen other adaptations and other versions of this, it's a heavy show.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's a heart-wrenching show. And I think this had all that depth and heart-wrenching aspect to it. But when you have a comedian and a strong voice like Eddie Izzard at the helm, every character finds their comedic moments.
Yes.
And finds their bits and beats to take us out of the tragedy, which makes the tragedy all that more delicious when we fall into it.
Oh, absolutely.
Where in a full cast, you're not going to have that many well-versed comedians at the helm.
Yeah, you're gonna cast someone that has that buoyancy as the gravedigger, as Polonius. You're going to find that buoyancy in specific characters, but it's not often that you get that from every single person. And that was what was so fascinating about this. And also what I felt, and I think you could go both ways on this, you could prefer that you get such distinct personalities for each character because they are different energies or frequencies or ingredients making up a whole. And that's a beautiful version that I think we've seen a lot of times, right? Many people coming together. But when you had Suzy doing it, it was about the language.
Yeah.
It was about sharing these moments to thine own self be true, that this too solid flesh, all these things are just like dripping off and into the audience. And it wasn't about a bunch of different people having different points of views.
Yeah.
It was about the fact that you could feel the characters being different people, but the story was the cohesive part. And the language above all was what was being shared. And it was so accessible in that way.
So, okay, if you haven't figured it out by now, I loved this show. We loved this show.
I did. I really did.
It's exceptional. And I think one of the things that you just said, it is why I think everyone should see this, whether you love or don't love Shakespeare, is it is so accessible.
It really is. It's so beautiful. And you get those moments where you're like, why has Shakespeare lasted so long? Oh, there it is. Flights of Angels, Sing Thee to Thy Rest. Like there's just so much in there. These words just hit you and you go, that is a universal feeling. I have felt it. I know it. I feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
And that was the star of the show.
And I still believe that I could put this show on mute and still understand it with just that one person on stage because the specificity was out of this world.
Oh, by the way, did we mention injury?
That's what I was about to mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
She came out at the beginning and did that, direct to audience appeal of like, hey, there is no fourth wall. We're all in this together. Oh, by the way, yes, my knee exploded and I had to have surgery on it. And so I am wearing a brace. And so I'm about 70-80% on this leg. So that so much of the show was held back.
Yes.
In what movement probably was designed to be there or directed to be there.
Yes. And I noticed during intermission in some of the promo videos that she was up and down and actually kneeling as Claudius when it was time to do the prayer, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, holy shit, not only does this performer not have any props, any additional costume pieces, not even using like a piece of jewelry around their neck.
She got a bum leg.
And cannot use vertical dimension.
Unbelievable.
Can't even go up and down.
I mean, the crazy part is still having to go up and down those levels with just one
oh
leg.
yeah, just the steps. Oh my God, I know.
When the sword fight was happening, by the way, no spoilers, it's Hamlet.
Yeah.
But when the sword fight was happening between Laertes and Hamlet, I started to get worried. I was like, be careful,
I
be
laughed.
careful.
Did you hear me laugh?
No.
I laughed and I was like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed. But I was laughing because I was uncomfortable.
Yeah, because the way that she would turn or land on that leg that was clearly, like, it was, had the full brace on it. I thought, oh God, don't. Not for us. We don't need it.
It was so unbelievable and so wonderful. And I like laughed out loud because I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. I'm uncomfortable because of the tension of those moments that are being done so well. And also, of course, like, thinking about the actor having to go through that and thinking about how to adjust all of that, because there had to be so many staging adjustments done. It was just on so many levels such a feat of expertise.
Yeah. Have you done much fourth wall breakage theater? Like, have you done much?
Yeah, I've done a lot of it.
Really?
Yeah. But it's fun.
It's so fun.
I think interacting with the audience, it's why we're there, right?
Yeah.
Is to have this human moment together. So it's very cool to get to do that. But what I appreciate about the way that she did it was that I'm not gonna like name names, but sometimes when I see people break the fourth wall, it still feels like they're presenting.
Yeah.
And I actually don't feel like they're breaking the fourth wall. I feel like that was the idea, but they're still so presentational that they don't feel accessible to me as an audience member. I still feel the facade. And I felt so locked in.
Yeah.
Like right away, I was like, oh, you're here with us. This is not a part of the play.
One of my favorite moments, too, was when she wasn't even talking to the audience. She was talking to the players.
Yeah.
And she had this beautiful stage mom moment of, like, after telling them how to act and not to screw it up, just a little, as she walked away, turned back. One last little, like, you can do it.
You got this. It's so good. It's like, and also like walking away with purpose to do something else. And it's like, but wait, just one more time. I think you can do it.
Which tells so much true story of, like, I'm not sure if I really passed along how important it is that you follow this.
Yeah.
And then that I hadn't seen, and I'm sure it's been done so many times this way, but the way that she portrayed the players at first of, like, not being very good at acting.
Yes.
And very presentational acting. I was like, wow. Because I did just watch the Richard Branagh one as kind of like prep for coming to this show.
Oh, yeah. Kenneth Branagh, right?
What did I say, Richard?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's okay. You were probably thinking of King Richard.
I was probably thinking about King Richard. When...
As one does.
Yeah. Kenneth Branagh, who, by the way, I share a...
I mean, just in case you ever run into Kenneth, I just want...
Well, I do share a credit with Kenneth Branagh.
Oh.
We're in a little animated movie called Fireheart together.
Oh, my God.
Wherein they play the chief of the firehouse.
Oh, my God.
And I play a fireman that gets brought along when all the other firemen in New York City get lost.
Oh, my God. That's heart-wrenching.
It's tough.
It actually is if you think about it.
It's a
very
Shakespearean
scary.
story. It's called Fireheart, and it's all about this. All the firemen are disappearing in 1921 in New York City, and the fire chief's
New York City, and
the fire chief's trying to figure it out. And his daughter's like, "I want to be a fireman. Let me help." But girls can't be firemen. They're not allowed to. It's too dangerous.
Oh.
And so she dresses as a man and goes undercover as a man and helps her father.
That is very Shakespearean.
Very Shakespearean. Also, William Shatner's in it, and Olivia Cooke plays the daughter.
Holy shit, that's amazing!
It's an incredible. It was my first voiceover gig, and they flew us out to Montreal to record. I think for tax purposes.
I know for tax purposes.
For definitely tax purposes, and probably union purposes as well.
Yeah.
But it was a super. I never met any of them, but it was such a fun movie to do.
That's incredible.
So, but yes, I saw the Kenneth Branagh version, and in that one, like, the players are great. From moment one, you see the players in that, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Okay.
And it cuts to, like, them telling the story of Hecuba or whatever it is that they're telling, and it's actually Judi Dench is in that part
so
of it.
Good. Just these little like winks and kisses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, here, Izzard was like, it made so much sense later when Izzard's like, okay, so trippingly off the tongue and don't saw the hand, don't saw the air with your hands. Like really giving a purpose to that speech later.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
That was so well done and so smart.
And there's so many different interpretations over time. And thank God, right? Because the purpose of this is the humanities. It's the arts, right? It grows and it changes. And when someone in a community puts this play on, it is a reflection of what's going on in the community.
Yeah.
So it should, like, points of view can change, characters can change. You can have cool ideas. You can set it in another time period, whatever you want to do. I think it's just a reflection of what's going on and why people want. But that's like, it says it in Hamlet, like, hold a mirror, like she says, you've held a mirror up to me, you know, and I think that's what theater does in a really beautiful way. But that's why it felt like such a privilege to see this version where we're included as the audience. The mirror is for all of us. We're sharing it.
Yeah.
Right? It was just so, so lovely.
Did you have any other things that struck you about the show?
Yeah. You know.
Or takeaways or things that maybe didn't work or?
Yeah. One of the things, so I'm a woman. I don't know if anybody could tell, but I am a woman. So I have a lot of feelings about Gertrude and Ophelia.
Okay,
because those are the two characters that I identify. Although my very first role was Aladdin because I did not want to be Princess Jasmine. And I told the teacher, obviously Aladdin's the lead and the best part. That's what I want to do.
You played Aladdin?
I did.
Aladdin's
my fourth grade
favorite.
play.
I want to play Aladdin.
One jump ahead of the breadline, baby.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? One swing ahead of the sword.
So Ophelia Grown Up is your Instagram handle as well.
It's true. Yes, it is.
And so talk about Ophelia and Gertrude.
So I played Gertrude in high school, which was really incredible. Such an incredible thing.
Tall girl problems, huh?
Tall girl problems. Yeah. And actually, the woman. Are we still women when we're in high school? I'm trying not to call women girls, but I think we were girls.
Yeah,
we were girls.
You're a girl.
Yeah, we were girls. She was older than me, who played Ophelia, and I was a little bit jealous, because Ophelia's the ingenue, and I think that was a little bit of like, do you want to be like the character or the ingenue? And I think a lot of the socialization that exists for women, because by that time I wasn't in fourth grade anymore. I had been fully like gone through puberty and was much more aware of what was expected of to be a woman and to be feminine. And I just thought, oh, Ophelia, like she's so sweet and so fun and so like, yes, she dies, but you know what I mean? Like she's the one who gets to be in love.
Yeah.
And Gertrude nothing is portrayed in a loving way between her and Claudius. Mm-hmm. It's either that it was lust or, I don't know, my personal version of this is like, if we're actually looking at the time period, what is Gertrude going to do?
Yeah.
She is a queen.
She's about to be cast out.
Yeah, she is a queen who is the queen to a king who owns nothing, who in that time period, it's like, if your husband died, what were you going to do? You're not going to become the queen. Right? Queen Elizabeth was such an anomaly. And so the portrayal of the society is like there's two women in it, right? And for Ophelia in particular, what I think is interesting is I was so attached to her being the ingenue, and that's what I really wanted to do. But I was playing Gertrude, and now I have such an appreciation for Gertrude.
Right.
As I've aged.
Yeah.
And that's such a cool perspective. But getting back to Ophelia, it's, we're from the generation where we had like AOL Instant Messenger.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So we picked really embarrassing names for ourselves.
Very.
Because we were expressing ourselves, which is also what I love about Shakespeare is because it gives you permission to have these big feelings. The first Shakespeare I ever read was Romeo and Juliet. I was in that shit as like a 12-year-old. Are you kidding me? So big feelings, right? We're like, yes, I can feel.
I just met you tonight and I will do anything to be with you for the rest of my life.
Or I will kill myself. Right? And you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
I so get it. It's those big feelings, those big moments, the funerals, the deaths, the weddings, the births, the love, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to Ophelia. So when Instagram a long time ago first came up, it felt similar to AOL in the beginning. It was not this platform for advertising, all those things. It was truly just because Facebook was so messy and was getting so yucky. And so it was like, oh, Instagram is just pictures and words. As an artist, this really appeals to me, right?
And
So,
filters. Don't forget the filters.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think they had filters in the beginning.
Oh, did they not? I look at everybody's like the beginning of their Instagram pages. It's all
Yeah.
like those heavily
Oh
filtered,
God,
like
yes.
to make it
Super
look like
sepia,
it was. Yeah.
Make it look like real retro.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're so right about that. I was like, look at how artsy I am.
Exactly.
I'm so artsy. Well, look at how artsy I am. My handle was Ophelia Grown Up, and the reason for that was because my relationship to Ophelia was one of that passage of ingenue to an adult woman, but also this idea that Ophelia didn't get that.
Yeah.
She didn't get to grow up because she lived in a world where if she was not someone's wife,
Right.
someone's daughter, or someone's sister, she had no reason to live.
Ugh. Fuck.
And in a patriarchal society, she goes to Gertrude, and Gertrude is like, first of all, doesn't want to see her. But then when she does, she's like, oh, yeah, that's really sad. But she's so stuck in her own shit that she doesn't help her. She doesn't have a woman to look up to. She doesn't have a female mentor.
Mm-mm.
And that part to me really stood out too. So Ophelia Grown Up for me was about Ophelia didn't get the chance to grow up. And what if she lived in a world where she did?
Yeah.
And that was really important to me. And so that's that. So what I feel for her is that first love. She loves Hamlet, and she's heartbroken when she sees him mad.
Yeah.
And that I didn't totally feel in this production.
Mm.
And I think part of it was, I have an attachment to that, of course, but the monologue was cut down, which is also totally fine because you get the point, right? But it was so factual. Like, oh, I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that this is happening, and he's all of these things, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the expectancy and rose of the fair state. But she's not just saying those things as facts. She's saying those things because she loves him, and she sees this about him, and the fact that he could be mad. She calls herself, like, she sucked the honey of his music vows. She's a lady's most deject and wretched. Like, these words are so drama, right?
So drama.
But it's because it's your first love. Do you remember your first love?
No, it's totally that. And, having watched Slings and Arrows now, I just got to the part where there's a terrible, they really put the worst actors, like the niece of one of the board members is playing Ophelia. And you see, I think maybe this is his name's Jeffrey. And you see Jeffrey go up to her, and he's like, stop. Okay. She is a child.
Yes.
She's a child who's blaming herself for the loss of her father because, based on her sending her brother away.
Yes.
And
all of it.
All of these things are the reason that her dad is dead now, and the reason that Hamlet doesn't love her. Like, all these things are falling on her. And it really broke down for me too of like, and I know this is of the time, but Hamlet's 30 at least.
Yeah.
Right? The Gravedigger talks about it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I've been doing this for as long as this happened. The birth of Hamlet's been 30 years.
Yeah.
So he's 30, and Ophelia is a fucking child.
She's a baby.
And so, all that breakage happens for her because, she's just being thrown about and strewn about by not only these men, but also by these women.
Yes.
But being cast aside by Gertrude, who's, like you said, dealing with her own troubles. And
she's in the same boat, man. It's like, who is she if she's not remarried?
Yeah. To deal with that from a child brain, made me understand so much. What really made me understand it was Slings and Arrows.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
That really brought it home for me.
And that heartbreak. It's just like, I wanted her to have her moment. And Suzy gave her a beautiful moment in her speech when she's mad, which, by the way, this is rosemary. That's for remembrance. Oh. So what's a beautiful thing in that passage is that each of the herbs
Brittany actually just handed me rosemary wrapped in green, beautiful ribbon.
Yeah.
And
I know we're jumping a little bit, but what I love about Hamlet is in that speech, Ophelia gives different flowers and herbs to different people on the stage, and they all have a different meaning. Like, she gives Gertrude rue, which is like regret, right? Rosemary's for remembrance. But I love Suzy's moment with I think it's violets, as violets are pansies, but it says I would give you violets, but they died. They all died the day that I forgot exactly, but she basically says like they all stopped growing. That they withered the day that my father died.
Wow.
And that moment really hit me, and I thought there was some really beautiful emotion in that. So it was there, but to me, that just like being attached to that young love feeling when your heart is broken, because that is one of the tragedies of being a human being, is that you get your heart broken.
Yeah.
And I wanted to feel a little bit more of that heartbreak there.
I hear you.
But I think that is, again, the gift of the show, is that there's so many different characters and they're all represented equally.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a little bit of a deference there.
Of course.
Right. And you have 2 hours and 20 minutes and you have to service the entire story.
Yeah.
So the sweet part about Hamlet that I loved that was brought in, which if you haven't seen Hamlet, please go see it.
Stop. There's so many times you should have stopped this podcast by now.
Are you coming back to this like 8 weeks later?
Did you finish Slings and Arrows?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, how was it?
Did you do a scene study class? Are you up on iambic pentameter?
Have you read Hamlet?
Great. Let's keep going.
Now that you're back from having watched Hamlet, go ahead.
Yes. I just loved the little nods to the parts of Hamlet that are so beautiful. But when they're in the garden together and they're very happy as a family and she's with the children and she's teaching them about the herbs.
Yes.
She teaches them about the herbs
that was
are
Ophelia grown up right there.
That was, she's teaching them about the herbs that are in Ophelia's speech, which I just found was such gorgeous threading.
It really was. That whole Chloe Zhao. Oof.
Yeah.
And all the performances in that movie. I also think it's so smart. I mean, obviously, Suzy Eddie Izzard has been doing this for decades.
Yes.
And she knows what she's doing.
Yes.
And just the smallest thing of expectation setting, of coming out at the top and getting all these laughs for this opening speech. As she's talking about her bum knee, but then also saying to us, by the way, this is a tragedy. So these are the last laughs you're going to have.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I've laughed more at a production of Hamlet in my life.
I know.
But that's so
I was
smart.
like, you fucking
it's
dick.
So good.
You're like, don't expect to laugh. And of course, then you get to laugh.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, but I didn't expect it. So
I
it
know
felt better.
What else is comedy but setting an expectation and then breaking it?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was
Gorgeous.
Genius, beautiful, so well executed. I've kind of spoken about everything about this show that I want to say. I just really, obviously I've said it enough. I love heightened language.
Mm-hmm.
I love poetry. I love breaking it down. I love learning about it. I love living in it. I love the way that Javier Bardem talks about it, where Shakespeare is a collection. It's your job as an actor. Shakespeare gives you all these images, and then it's your job to put them in order. And you take all these images, and these images are now triggers for you as a human being that gets set off by whatever happens or is said within the show. And I think nobody does it better.
It's so perfect because it harnesses these primary color emotions that we all have as human beings that I think we have so much more access to when we're kids, right? And you can shift so quickly between them. 1 minute you're crying because you lost your toy, and the next minute you're given a cookie and you're like, right? And it's so pure and authentic. But then we become adults and we have all this, our garbage just gets so sophisticated.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is the duplicity that you get in Shakespeare, is the language sounds really sophisticated.
Yeah.
Right? So it can appeal to the intellect or to like the adult sensibility, but actually it is so basic. It's so primal, these feelings that they're talking about. And that's the heightened
and
part
so
of it,
universal.
right?
It can be interpreted by any person, can say, that's about me.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
it's not vague, it's actually very specific.
Yes.
And it feels like you're the only one that can actually connect to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like when someone is really sending out that language, it's so buoyant and so big. And it's like someone's passing you the ball. That's how I feel as an audience member. It's like, this human thing, scoop it out. And then you catch it and you're like, yep. That's what that feels like.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And then it keeps going and it's like back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
That's what Shakespeare feels like to me.
Totally. And all that to say that I am so primed to love this show.
That's
so
very fair.
Set up to love this show. But I have to believe that this is maybe the most accessible Shakespeare. Like, it's just like, you no matter what your feelings are about Shakespeare, I would really suggest that you give this one a shot. And anyone who listens to this podcast knows I don't say that about all the shows that I see. I try to find what works about each show and share that with everyone, because I think all artists are doing their best and we all come up against whatever trials and tribulations that come along the way of creating good art. But this is really something that I think is worth it to go out and spend the night and really just dive into, because it's so well done, it's so well executed, and it makes you feel something. So like highly recommend this show.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Again, totally primed to love it, but also primed to be skeptical.
Totally.
You know, when you study something and you love it, you saw, like, I have some attachments, right?
Yeah.
Like to the young woman, because I've been a young woman. But
Right.
but I think everybody can find that in this show. And I also think that it is incredibly human, this work that Suzy has done.
Yeah.
And it honors a great legacy, but it also makes it feel extremely prescient and in the moment.
I don't know what else to say. Go and see Hamlet.
Go see Hamlet.
Izzard, The Tragedy of Hamlet. It's only going to be here till the 31st, so hopefully you've already got your tickets. And if not in LA, then somewhere else. Before we go, Britt, do you have anything you would like to promote?
Oh my God. No.
Here's what Britt would like to promote. Britt's always got something cooking. And if you want to know what's cooking, go follow Ophelia Grown Up on Instagram or anywhere else they should follow you.
Instagram's my favorite place
Yeah.
to keep in touch. And I think as a creator, I'm in that incubation period. So I have a script that's about to go out to market, but hopefully you'll be hearing about it next year. It's that kind of thing where it's like I'm feeling very womb-like right now because I'm processing a lot of things, but
also just like go there for the stories. There's usually beautiful art pieces. There's interesting think pieces.
Yeah.
There's a political bent of like, hey, maybe you should focus on what's happening around here today.
Yeah.
So go there for that aspect and stick around for the projects that are only in the womb phase right now.
And also feel permission to be in your own womb phase. We don't have to be in productivity all the time.
Oh yeah. Sometimes we gotta absorb.
Yeah.
You can't create it out of nowhere.
No, we got to feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Britt, thank you so much for
You're so
coming to a
welcome.
show with me and coming
Yes.
here and being part of the podcast. And thank you all for listening all the way to the end. As always, let me know if there's any shows you'd like me to see, guests you'd like me to have on, or segments you'd like me to cover in the show. And yeah, that's it. Bye.
Bye.
We got big theater kid energy. Look out, we project, we sing out Louise. Never market, always go full out. John Patrick Shanley never had a doubt. Our voices are warm, fan kicks are high. We've got perfect form. We say thank you, five. Grab your prop, charge all the glow tape. Curtains going up. 5, 6, 7, 8. We got big theater kids.